Welcome to the interview. I'm Dan Hollander, and today our guest is State Representative Barry Doss.
Yeah,
very good to have you with us again.
You bet. Proud to be.
Got a lot of things to talk about. One in particular, a four-year college in Lawrenceburg. This has got to make you feel good, and
it is, Dan, and it's a culmination of a lot of work over the last 4 years. But 4 years ago it was a dream. 2 years ago it began to look like a very real possibility, and today I can tell you that it's looking very good. Yeah. The chances are very good.
Good. Where did the idea originate from? People just wanted something here?
No, 4 years ago I was looking at a map of the state of Tennessee that had a blue thumbtack everywhere in the state of Tennessee where there was a higher education opportunity in Tennessee. And it was a glaringly obvious hole in southern middle Tennessee where there's no, you go to Jackson or Nashville or Murfreesboro or Chattanooga, and if you look at all the lower tier higher education and you put all those thumbtacks in, there's just a half moon shape in southern middle Tennessee where there's no opportunity. Well, the governor's Drive to 55 plan, where that plan sets a very lofty goal of currently I think 32% of Tennesseans have greater than a high school education, and he wants to bring that to 55% over the next 10 years. Well, how are we going to meet that in our area? As you know, Dan, educational level has everything to do with economic development. Right. So it's hard to recruit industry here if we can't show industry that our people are educated and well trained. Right. So as I looked at that map, I said, wow, what a void in southern middle Tennessee. And so I reached out to 2 or 3 higher educational institutions, and Tennessee Tech basically said we'd love to be there. We started working on it, and then I realized very quickly it was bigger than me. So I've set the infrastructure, but then I've created a committee here in Lawrence County. We actually met here in this very room, Dan, about 2 years ago with Dr. Oldham, the president of Tennessee Tech, the president of Columbia State, and an array of people from all around the community. And we talked about this vision, and we kept working on it. But it's a glaring need. Mike Krause, the governor, all of them see that need, and they see that in order to attain that educational level here in southern middle Tennessee, we have to have a facility here.
Was it difficult to get approval for a visit to Tennessee Tech?
Oh, no, not at all. They actually called us.
Oh, really?
They called us.
Well, that's even better.
It is. Now, we had them down here 2 years ago and told them we wanted them here, and they said we'd love to be here. So this is 2 years worth of work and researching, looking at the data. We have over 1,700 kids from Lawrence County going south of the state line to education, to UNA, Athens State, UAH. So a lot of our kids are having to go to Huntsville or Florence or somewhere to get an education. And to me, that doesn't sit very well when we could have that facility and opportunity here in Lawrence County.
Who are some of the people that participated in this?
Dr. Oldham, the president of Tennessee Tech, and ironically, he is sat on a board with Mr. Billy Helton here in Lawrence County. He's also a college roommate with veterinarian Tim Hammond from Loretta. He and Tim Hammond were roommates in college. So, we had good connections. Terry Salzman works for Tennessee Tech directly under Dr. Oldham. Terry Salzman is a son of Bruce Salzman, who I named the bypass after, the Bruce Salzman bypass. Bruce Salzman was the TDOT commissioner under Don Sundquist, and he married Elaine Long, who grew up in Revelo, a mile from me. So, Bruce's wife, Elaine, grew up, 1 mile from me. Yeah. So therefore, I've got a very good relationship with the Salzmans and Terry, who works under Dr. Oldham.
So the reaction from Tennessee Tech about a university here and 4-year school and all that, they reacted well, didn't they?
Reacted very well, and we didn't just go up there and beg. They called and asked us to come. We put together a group of people, and I don't know if you've seen the recent article in one of the local newspapers, but we carried a tour bus up there and had 15 of us, or actually 16 of us, went up on that bus, and we basically wowed them. Now, I could have went by myself, But that's not going to impress them for one person to come up there and say what our community wants. So I felt it was very imperative that we bring our entire community up there. So we had, Keith Smith from Loretta, and Mayor Jesse Turner wanted to be on the trip really bad, but he had to work. But Keith Smith from Loretta and an array of people from Lawrence County, Summertown, Lawrenceburg, and we took a big contingent of people up there, and they were shocked. And to see that kind of that group of people up, we didn't just go to see Tennessee Tech. We went and visited Tennessee Tech, told them about our plan. Of course, they were aware of what we presented a year ago, Dan, to the governor. From that meeting 2 years ago, we put together a plan that said, in order for us to have a new facility, our existing space at Columbia State right now is too small, and we're landlocked. There's no way to build on. As a matter of fact, the Education Foundation had to buy a little brick house that went on the market to sell. They bought that little brick house, tore it down, and built a parking lot for the college. So the Education Foundation still owns that parking lot, and there's nowhere to build. So there's no space to put other universities in. The building is big enough for Columbia State. It's not big enough to put another university there. So we knew going in order to have a 4-year institution here, we were going to have bigger facilities. So we went up a year ago. I took a contingent of people from Lawrence County and presented our plan to the governor, that if the governor or the state of Tennessee would contribute $4 million to our program, that Lawrence County government would contribute $1 million, and we would raise $1 million private funds. And that $6 million would build the new facility. And the governor really liked our plan. And Mike Krause, who was the Drive to 55 director at the time, really liked our plan. Dr. Oldham and Dr. Smith were on board and agreed that we needed to go in this direction. And it's just grown since then.
So you didn't have to twist any arms?
Initially, 4 years ago, there was some twisting arms just to get people to listen.
Yeah.
3 years ago, everybody knew about it and started talking. And then a couple of years ago, when we finally made our presentation to the governor, it was well received.
Yeah. We can talk the rest of the day on this question, but how is Lawrence County going to benefit when this happens?
Well, we're going to have a place for Lawrence County. Let me give you an example, Dan. My son, and I'm so proud because he's going to be going to UT this fall. But my son just graduated Lawrence County High School a few months ago. But while his junior year and senior year, he took dual credit courses at Columbia State. A few his junior year and a whole lot his senior year. We just went to UT for his freshman orientation, and he's going to UT with 36 hours. All of them transferred. So now he just graduated high school, yet he's going to UT 6 hours into his sophomore year. So he's a sophomore at UT today, which saves Dad money and time.
Yeah.
Now my son says that he wants to stay the full 4 years, like any 18-year-old wants to stay at college for a while. So we met with his UT advisor, and his advisor has him on the track right now to stay 4 years and come home with a master's in business. So because of those dual credit courses, now he's going to be able to go to UT for 4 years and come back with a master's. Now you're well aware of the Tennessee Promise. That's a very popular program, especially in rural Tennessee. But right now, any high school graduate can go to a technical school or a community college free of charge. So we put the programs in place to get them a 2-year degree. But what after that? A lot of kids won't or can't move off to another city for a higher ed. So I wanted that opportunity here. So kids now, after this plan is fully implemented, are going to be able to go to Columbia State for 2 years and then go to Tennessee Tech for 2 years in the same building right here in Lawrenceburg and have a 4-year degree.
That's right. Nobody argues with that, does it?
Nobody. And it's not just Tennessee Tech. And I think it gets lost in the shuffle sometimes that our entire campus is a multi-building campus. So we're going to have, over the next 10 years, we'll have 3 buildings. The second building, which I think will be built very soon as well, but the second building is going to hold TCAT. So we've worked with TCAT out of Hollander, TCAT out of Pulaski, and both of them are bringing a degree here. As a matter of fact, TCAT Hollander has already applied for the grant that we need them to receive in order to bring the industrial maintenance degree here. So eventually this college campus is going to be TCAT, Columbia State's AIIT program, and we'll talk about that a little bit later, and then Columbia State's 2-year degree and Tennessee Tech's 4-year degree. Tennessee Tech's only going to offer years 3 and 4. So they're not competing with Columbia State, and we've had a time working out the details of how they're going to work together and working out the 2+2 agreements between Tennessee Tech and Columbia State. So it's not just higher ed, it's technical school, industrial maintenance, and Columbia State and Tennessee Tech. So it's an educational campus.
Any idea where this campus might be, or are you still looking?
Well, I can tell you that we've got ongoing negotiations on land.
Sure.
We haven't signed a contract. So since we haven't signed a contract, we don't want to talk specifics, but I can tell you, since Southern Middle Tennessee doesn't have a lot of higher ed opportunity, we know that we're going to serve Wayne County, Giles County, North Alabama, and Murray County. So with our infrastructure in Lawrence County, it makes it pretty obvious where this needs to be. It needs to be at the intersection of Highway 64 and Highway 43. So I think I've said enough. We're going to be very near that intersection.
Yeah. How far in the future would the school possibly open? Any guesses on that at this time?
Yes.
To get it all set up.
Well, I'll be very honest. We're going to get, and I say we're going to, I'm very optimistic. We're going to get the grant this October from the state. We hope to be, and I put together a committee. We've got committees working on all sorts of things. A lot of people don't realize what all there is to do, but I'm sure we'll talk more about what all the committees are doing. But right now, the grant money will be available in October. The county is prepared. The city is stepping in now, and the city wants to get involved because of this second building. But I would think by the end of year, we're going to have the building designed and ready for construction. And I think by early spring, we'll start construction, and it'll be a year-long construction project. So my goal was to have it ready for the fall of 17, but we're probably not going to make that. We'll probably be spring of 18. But that's not going to prevent us from having some of those classes here in Lawrence County before the building is built. Mm-hmm. As a matter of fact, the TCAT program is going to go into an existing building here in Lawrence County, and they're going to stay in this existing building until we get the campus built. So we're going to have the industrial maintenance degree here this fall or late fall, and then Tennessee Tech's going to offer a couple of classes at the Columbia State campus this year. Now that's all they have room for right now is a couple of classes. We want a couple of degrees, but there's going to be a couple of classes there this fall just to get people and them have a presence and start attracting students and making them aware.
If people want to get involved in this,
Mm-hmm.
to help you,
yes,
and all the other people participating in this, how can the average citizen help?
Well, we've got a lot of citizens helping. I'll tell you right now, we've got a group of about 35 people that have volunteered to assist in this effort because it's much bigger than Berry Dallas. It's much bigger than any one person can handle. So we've got committees set up. So we realized when we started breaking it down, and let me give you some examples of committees. One is a committee to work on the grant process. It's a 6-week grant process, and there's lots and lots of work to be done showing the need and preparing this grant. Tennessee Tech has put forth their grant writer to facilitate the grant writing free of charge. As a matter of fact, they even wrote a $25,000 check for us to hire the architect. So did Columbia State. So we've got a committee that's working on the grant. We've got a committee working on land acquisition. We've got a committee working on PR and public relations and advertising. We've got a committee working on private fundraising. and local government fundraising. So, there's a lot of people working. So knowing that there were going to be a lot of committees, we needed a quarterback. So we have all got together and found someone that's passionate about education, that really wants to be involved in the community, and we have agreed to ask Jim Cone to be our quarterback. Jim Cone grew up, played in Lawrence County High School football, moved off and stayed for years, but he came back to Lawrence County about quite a few years back. He's retired, he's passionate, he believes in this plan, and he's accepted to be our quarterback. So he's going to have a office at the Chamber of Commerce on the square, and eventually you'll see us put some advertisements out in all media saying, here's the contact, here's who you call to get involved, and we're going to have some town hall meetings so that people have the opportunity to get involved with this. There's lots of work to be done.
I'm sure.
Yes.
Sounds like to me you got it under control and
it is,
it's
and
on
it's
the right track.
It is, and it's just wonderful because so many people have stepped up and said we want to be involved in this, and it's just a tremendous effort. I can't wait. I'm a little bit impatient, and I can't wait till it's built, because then projects like this, that it takes 3 to 4 years to put. You dream. You put together a vision, and then you institute a plan, and then you have to follow it up until it's done. And I realized a couple of years ago, this is much bigger than I could handle myself. So when I reached out to the people of Lawrence County, they come in abundance, and everybody with an excitement level that it's unbelievable. And so all of Lawrence County is going to make this happen. It's not just Berry Doss. So I don't want anybody to think that I've done this. Lawrence County is doing this. We're taking our future into our own hands, and we're going to have a higher education campus that's going to house at least 4 different institutions on one campus. Let me show you a sneak peek.
Okay.
And I don't know whether you can see this, but when we presented to the governor, I don't know if you can see this, but this is our initial vision. Now, this is not what everything's going to look like. We needed something to show our vision to the governor and Mike Krause. And this is the campus. This is the building that we want to build right now. It's going to be about 40,000 square feet, which is about twice the size of our current Columbia State facility. And then this will be the second building, which will house the technical portion of our higher ed. And then this will be more higher ed, but that will be, I'm going to say, that will be built in a year and a half. This possibly even within 2 years, and this maybe 5 to 10 years from now will be built. The mayor and some of them are saying much quicker, but we'll see. It's going to depend, the success of this whole campus is going to depend on the student load and how many students we attract from other counties. But I think it's very high time that people from Wayne, Giles, and Murray County come to Lawrence County to get an education. We've been driving to Columbia for years. Now it's time for somebody to drive to Lawrence County to get an education. And this is a picture of the building itself. This is not an actual rendition of what we're going to build. It was just an idea that we put on paper just so that we could get the governor and the higher ed institutions' attention. We called it Lawrence County Center for Higher Education, but it's obviously going to be Columbia State is going to be our primary institution. Tennessee Tech is going to be our primary higher ed institution. But then with TCAT and the AIT program through Columbia State, this thing is going to give every level of education beyond high school on one campus, and it's going to be tremendous.
Right. If people want more information, I'm sure your phone rings off the hook.
It does. They're welcome to call me, but we will eventually have some contact numbers in the paper, because obviously I can't take every call.
Right. You couldn't do anything else.
That's right. That's right. I've set the infrastructure. I've got the ability. What's really neat, Dan, that I think everybody needs to know, I think the good Lord is looking after Lawrence County, because Mike Krause, and I can't stress that name enough, Mike Krause was the Drive to 55 director under the governor. He's the one that the governor picked to institute the Drive to 55 program to raise the educational level to 55% in Tennessee. As we started this program, Mike was really excited about our program. So now we're about to officially put the grant together and ask for the money. We are asking THEC, Tennessee Higher Education Committee, for the money. The money is set aside in the governor's budget, and I had to make sure that money was set aside in the governor's budget so that we had money to ask for. The money is there. It was put there for our program and some other programs. Now everybody across the state is going to apply for this, but everybody knows why the money was put there to begin with. Mike Kraus knows that. However, 3 weeks ago, Mike Kraus got a promotion, and now he is the director over THEC, Tennessee Higher Education Committee. So the guy that we asked for the money and that's excited about it is now the chief over the entity that we're asking the money from. So Mike called last week and said, Barry, the enthusiasm Lawrence County has over this new higher educational facility is the talk of THEC. And there's so much talk and so much enthusiasm that we want to come see how you all have done this. So they're coming down on the 19th of this month, and we're going to have a luncheon, and we're going to take some visits at some potential property sites. They're going to see and meet our entire committee, our mayors, our elected officials, and they're going to see how we've created this excitement about our higher educational facility. And he is really super excited about what we're doing here, because keep in mind, he's the one that set the goal for the Drive to 55. Right. And now we're helping him achieve his goal, and he's going to help us achieve our goal here in Lawrence County. So
can't beat that.
It's not, and it's God's saying that he is now the boss. Right. So
right.
You bet.
Barry, we appreciate the visit and the update on the schools.
You bet.
It's going to be great.
You bet it is, and I'm so proud for our kids going to have the opportunity to get an education right here at home.
Our guest today, State Representative Barry Doss. That's the interview. I'm Dan Hollander, and thanks for watching.